We are awaiting a historic meeting between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in. The leaders of these two nations have not met in more than a decade. Their summit comes just 1 week after Kim announced that North Korea would suspend its nuclear and missile testing.
Wait a minute. Why the sudden change of heart?
It cannot be overstated the historic nature of what we are witnessing now. These pictures coming to us outside the Peace House on the southern side of the demilitarized zone that divides the two countries. There you see the two leaders of North Korea and South Korea shaking hands in a demonstration of certainly attempted unity here. But there is...
Hang on, let's back this up and see what is going on. Between January of 2017 and November of that same year, hostilities and threats reach an all-time high. North Korea conducts 17 missile tests, and threats bounce back and forth from President Trump to Kim Jong-un until this happened.
North Korea is claiming that a new intercontinental ballistic missile it tested Wednesday is proof that it now has a nuclear weapon that can reach any target in the United States.
The end of the Hwasong-15 is rounder and more blunt than the Hwasong-14. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff says the 15 appears to be a new missile, not an upgrade. This follows photos released earlier in the day taken before, during, and after the launch. Some showed the North's leader Kim Jong-un overseeing the test, monitoring the flight data, and celebrating.
When the Hwasong-15 proves capable of striking any target in the United States, the Department of Defense enacts a highly classified operation known internally as Bloody Nose. Approved by Donald Trump, this secretive operation brings 6 B-1Bs from the 28th Bomb Group Wing, relocates them to Guam with 300 personnel along with many F-16s, F-15s, F-22, and F-35s with plans to strike 12 nuclear targets with low-yield tactical B-61 Cat-F .3 to 340 kiloton selectable warheads. As the new year arrives, debate rages internally about the legality of such a unprecedented first strike. Questions such as, can a missile test be considered an act of war? Or, if a missile flies over the Japanese peninsula, don't they need to request assistance from us before we attack? Although the general public has no clue of these debates, you can be sure that North Korean intelligence is very aware of President Trump's hunt for a reason to justify this historic first tactical nuclear strike. And then February 2018 happens. The entire secret operation Bloody Nose vaporizes. Even warrior units en route to Guam for stationing are turned around and told to stand down.
And a breakthrough that goes beyond sport. North Korea will take part in the Winter Olympics that start in exactly a month, and the two sides have agreed to reopen yet another cross-border hotline. These talks that were more, in fact, about figure skating than nuclear weapons. The North Korean delegation walking across the world's most militarized border, and then history with a handshake. A meeting unthinkable just a month ago.
Immediately following the announcements of North Korea's Olympic plans, Secretary of State Pompeo is sent on President Trump's orders to meet secretly with Kim Jong-un. The public will not find out about this meeting until a month later. However, the trip that would follow the meeting with the Secretary of State was one that we were all very aware of at the time, as we saw pictures of his train on the news daily.
It has been the strangest turn of events. Not long ago, he seemed the man most likely to tip the world into nuclear Armageddon. But if we saw pictures of Kim's secret visit to China yesterday, today the North Koreans broadcast virtually every step of the trip to the world in glorious Technicolor, and a fascinating insight into his court it gave us.
It was President Xi Jinping who invited Jong-un to come visit. Jong-un reports on the success of the ICBM objectives, and Xi Jinping spends 3 days strategizing and guiding Kim Jong-un on the next steps and how to maximize his position in dealing with the United States as well as achieving China's strategic goals.
But the really strange thing about all this is how normal it seems. Kim's wife looks like she's done this many times before. With the smiling and the waving, it almost seemed like some kind of royal visit. And perhaps that's no mistake, since his guide to power seems to have been learned from a host of the most brutal medieval monarchs. This was a big production for what was at the time a secret visit, with closed roads and motorcades and cameras in the sky. It says something about not just North Korea but China that this visit was largely kept from prying eyes. The real question is what it all means. A man who seemed to revel in being an international pariah has just charged onto the world stage. It may be some time before we work out what he's up to.
The more appropriate question would be, what are they up to? Stay tuned for our final part where we reveal the true wizard operating the strings and answer all your questions as to how this plays out.